You're listening to the Bleach Brothers podcast, hosted by B-Word and Jake.
Well, hello, everybody. This is B-Word of the Bleach Brothers podcast, and no, that is not Alvin and the Chipmunks visiting our set. As a matter of fact, Jake, do you have a microphone tonight?
No, I do not. That is probably why I sound like a sports network robot.
Well, I didn't want to say that we were taking calls on the sports network tonight, but I do want to point out that we recorded a phenomenal podcast recently. I think that both of us actually were kind of taken aback as to the quality of it. I think, for just starting out this podcast, that it was a very good first episode that we were planning to release. However, so Jake and I are located in two different areas of the West Coast, Jake being in the state of Washington and me being in the state of Nevada. And, unfortunately, because of that, we recorded separate tracks, and Jake started to sound like the Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas album. And so we're currently working on fixing the audio for that to potentially recover that episode so we can relaunch it for you guys. But ultimately, Jake, that's what happened last night, and obviously you want to talk to us a little bit about what the next thing is.
The biggest problem, I think, was we thought it was a great episode. Maybe it wasn't that good. I mean, I told you already. I had a fear I was going to pull the whole stupid joke at the end, going, "Oh, I forgot to hit record on my end." And God's karma must have bit me in the ass, because as soon as I went to save the file, it turned an hour and 6 minutes into 16 minutes. And I was just looking at it confused, hit play, send it to you. And luckily we do have an IT team trying to help us get this fixed, but we did want to get something out, not to be those people that seem like we're just pushing stuff all the time.
Absolutely.
But also, as you know, I've already boxed up that whole mic system and everything that I got, and I've already ordered a new one set to arrive on Tuesday.
Let's
so
hope
my voice won't be sounding like this. Yeah, well, that's the other problem. I moved into a new house. I'm proud of myself, Brian.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
Me and the wife did a good job. But we're like sort of more in the more rural area, and as you know, my packages have not been arriving in a timely manner at all. I was supposed to get some today, and
it's true, man.
Nothing arrived.
Amazon tells you something's going to arrive on Tuesday, and you're lucky if it's there by Thursday. So the good news is that we do have a new mic coming your way. So for those of you in the audience that are listening to Jake, and you're like, "Oh my God, I don't want to listen to a sports radio station," fear not. Jake will in fact have a microphone, and it'll be good quality, and we'll be able to record again. So that's good. Hey, Jake, you want to tell the audience a little bit about who we are? I know that I've got some friends that are going to listen to the podcast, and some associates and all that sort of stuff. And I know that you do as well. And my people might not know your people, and your people might not know my people. And so you want to tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your background?
Yeah. So, up here now, we grew up together a long time ago in Pahrump, Nevada. I moved my way up to the Pacific Northwest due to work and other things. I'm considered Jake the Hater or Jake the Tailgater up here. Do local radio and TV. I am a chef. I feel like I'm a very accomplished chef, so I have a big, high skill set in that, but I do sports radio as well. And, I've worked in a lot of many fields, sort of like yourself, Brian.
Yep.
And, I might be one of those guys that knows a little bit about a lot of things, not a lot about a little bit, but I just, I want to share more of that knowledge, because that's what I do now every day as I go out and help clients. I'm more considered a consultant chef now. And entertainment's always drawn me in. And,
oh yeah, of course.
Why not? I've done a little bit of stand up here and there. I've always involved myself in the media, had YouTube shows, and everything's had a little bit of a spark of success. So when you get bit by that bug, you want to keep going back and forth to it. I know I consider you B-Word, hence why we call you that on the show. What other nicknames you got, Brian?
So yeah, it's basically Brian B word, hey you asshole, kind of all those sort of things. But for me, I you and I have known each other since grade school, and somehow, some way, we've remained friends. We have a lot in common. We're both dads for a long time. We were both single dads. You decided to do a little bit more procreating than I did, but we've shared some similar struggles. We've confided in each other as friends, and a lot of these conversations that you and I have had throughout the years have turned into ultimately what we want to plan this podcast about. We want to talk a little bit about entertainment. We want to talk about movies. We want to talk about TV shows. But we also want to talk about things that interest us above that. We want to talk about beer, food, just different topics in general that I think friends have with friends, and that a lot of times we can argue about, but we can also agree upon, even if we're arguing. And so I think this show is really going to be that. It's going to be a much discussion. We hope a lot of laughs. We hope that we're entertaining the audience and everybody who's listening as you're going through this podcast. We really hope that we're entertaining you, because I can tell you that both Jake and I are entertaining each other through our conversations, and we've had many hours worth of conversations over the years that I think at one point your wife was probably pretty jealous of some of our conversations as far as the length goes. So
I was going to say that's essentially how the show started. I mean, and I think it probably would have started about 5 years ago. I mean, we've been friends since about second grade. Not trying to age ourselves here, but we essentially would get on the phone late at night, and it would turn into just a little thing like, hey, what are the top 10 Denzel Washington films and why?
Yeah.
And the one thing we realized is we disagree more than we agree.
Yep.
Which I think is more fun. And it's not we're doing it for entertainment purposes. It's usually my opinion's better than B-word. The B-word just sits there and stammers. But it's the fact
so you think
that I think the world, and, not trying to educate anybody on this, but, a lot of people don't like to talk like conflict. It's, we'd rather talk to people or listen to people that we only agree with. And me and you have always found a way around that, where we can be entertaining, objective, but, constructive with the criticism. And I think there's an entertainment value with that, but also to bring the other side and point of view of it. Also, we're going to be bringing recipes, other stuff that we do. I mean, you brew beer, I brew beer, I cook food. We're not just going to be educating people all the time, but we're not just going to also just tell you a movie review.
Right.
We're going to try to give you a little more with each show, whether it's a Jake take where I'm just pissed off about something in my drive home and I just want to go off for 20 minutes and viewer just hits record. That's going to happen sometimes.
Yep.
But also, fan feedback, and that is what we want. We want to make sure that we do something well, because Brian, you're a lot like me. The reason it took us a little longer to launch this and to make sure, because we like to do things right. And I know we're going off.
We're definitely looking for
this right now.
Right, of course, but we're looking for quality, man. And this is a conversation that you and I've had quite a while. You and I are both fans of podcasts. I can't stress enough how much podcasts have really evolved over the last 10, 15, 20 years, where you look at people like Joe Rogan, or you look at people like Ben Shapiro, or different political analysts, and they have their own podcasts, and they're successful at it. And while we don't want to get into the topics of politics and those types of things, because those are pretty hot button issues, we do want to have some controversy in some of the things that we say between the two of us, because as Jake said before, you take a topic of what's Denzel Washington's best movie. I'm sure that we can ask a room of 30 people, and there's probably 20 different answers on what his best movie is. And so this is the point of some of the conflict that we want to have. We want to have a discussion. But more than that, if you as an audience member wants us to kind of battle or give our take on some of this stuff, we want to be able to do that too. This is purely for entertainment. This is purely as a hobby for Jake and I, and it's a mode to be creative. So one of the things that we're good about is arguing, having a conversation, having a dialogue, but more than that, having an educated dialogue as to why X, Y, or Z is better than A, B, or C. So
and sometimes it's just going to be a BS opinion about what's bathroom etiquette for men. That's fine. Yep. But I mean, the last thing is we also just wanted to have fun, as you were saying, and we were already doing this where, as you were saying, my wife might have been jealous, where we would talk for 3 to 5 hours sometimes. Not that every show is going to be like that.
Right.
We're going to try to condense that. but we were already having the conversation and enjoy it. And we do talk about once a week, and we have these lengthy discussions, and we'd always joke like, hey, we should record this. And I mean, true story. That's how my first radio show came out in Las Vegas. Me and Travis Thomas, a good friend, shout out to the travesty. We recorded ourselves having a fake show, and it just went from there. And, we're not looking to get rich. We're just looking to have fun. And why not share it with other people and see what happens?
Yeah, and I think the big thing is that for us, this is fun. This is fun to have these types of conversation. This is fun to have this type of dialogue. And more than that, it's fun to be able to be creative. And both you and I are in the world, the corporate world, if we want to talk about that. And sometimes it gets a little stale. And I've spent, over 15 years in the financial world, and you've spent at least 10 plus if in the restaurant, front of house, back of house, and now as a supplier. It's really a nice thing to do, to be able to kind of cool off during the week and be able to have a fun conversation. And also because we are going to talk about a lot of topics such as entertainment and television and movies and et cetera. It's really going to be an opportunity for us to be able to have that time period for us to watch the movie or the TV show and be able to criticize it and also enjoy it.
Yeah. And you forgot about boobs. You can't forget about boobs.
You know me, man.
Just saying.
If there's a boobie or a subie in a movie, I mean, we're probably pretty good with that. It's probably a pretty decent flick. But again, you watch very bad movies and you do it as a hobby, and I don't, and this is where we argue. So if there's a boobie in a movie and it's a bad movie, well, it goes from an F to a D. What can I say?
And hopefully it's a double D.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
But no, I mean that's essentially. I mean, I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with other people too. I'm interested to see all 6 fans that actually listen to the show. When they type out a few things like either Jake sucks or wants to know more, and that's the whole thing, is also the interaction.
Yeah, and right now a lot of the people who are following the channel are related to us in a way where they're friends, their family, their contacts or business associates or whatever. And the big thing that we want to emphasize here is that this is for fun. This is something that is supposed to be for entertainment, but this is something where we really want to have your feedback. So if you agree with B Word, if you agree with the person who is right, we want to hear it in the comments. And if you think that I'm an absolute jackass and Jake the hater is right, you can just unfollow all of our channels. That's totally fine. So the big thing here is that Jake and I have a lot of fun. We've known each other for a long time. And we're going to continue to be friends and continue to have these conversations, whether we're recording or not. But we thought that this would be a fun opportunity to actually record it and see if it's entertaining and interesting to you as the audience member. And if not, that's totally fine too, because this is a great outlet for us to be able to experiment, to be able to be creative, and also to be entertained ourselves while hopefully we're entertaining somebody else. So with that, Jake, we're going to go ahead and finish up. Do you have any final words?
Alvin and the Chipmunks will never be guest starring on the show again.
Man, I hope not, because I'll tell you what, the 16 minutes of Alvin and the Chipmunks was hard to hear, my man. It was really hard to hear.
It was real bad. Like I said, I hope it sees the light day and it gets fixed. But until then, thanks for the dirty talk, and come get sanitized.
Absolutely. Don't forget to follow us on our socials at Bleach Bros Pod, at Bleach Bros Pod on Instagram, on Twitter, and soon to come on YouTube. Again, follow us on Facebook at Bleach Bros Pod, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.
Bye.